I am going to reach 100% perfection in Stardew Valley, and this is all of the progress that I made in year 2. Hello everyone, my name is Ottie, and welcome to my corner of the internet. Before we get started with a short recap of all of the progress I made in year 2, make sure to go watch the short year 1 recap so you're caught up to speed. If you'd like a more in-depth look at my progress throughout each season, I also have a playlist with videos explaining each season day by day, and I'll link that down below. Also, make sure to go over and follow me on Twitch. Perfection is getting closer and closer, and I will be streaming when I reach 100%. Year 2 spring. It really does feel like a fresh start. I've made enough progress to have my footing, but we still have a long way to go. If you know me, you know that I have a list of goals that I'm always chasing, and year 2 spring is no different. My goals for year 2 spring were, number 1, complete the community center as fast as possible. I wasn't able to finish it in year 1, but I wanted to get it done in the first week of spring. Number 2, unlock Ginger Island. Originally, my plan was to unlock Ginger Island in year 2 summer, but spoiler, I unlocked it in the spring. 3, along with those major goals, I also wanted to set up a greenhouse and grow starfruit and ancient fruit in there. Obviously, I wanted to spend some time organizing and decorating my farm, and I also wanted to make sure that I made as many kegs as possible. I did finish the community center in week 1, and let me tell you, it was all luck. I planted a ton of parsnips with fertilizer to increase my odds of getting gold, so obviously I finished the quality crops bundle on day 5. However, I was missing a rabbit's foot. I still hadn't gotten a single one from my rabbit, but by some miracle, the traveling trader had one that first Friday, and I completed the community center. I also accidentally skipped the cutscene, and I'm still pissed about it. I did spend a significant amount of time decorating and organizing my farm, and my starfruit and keg collection grew significantly over this season. I was also incredibly lucky that I was able to unlock Ginger Island this season. That is a huge deal. I unlocked the boat in the last week of spring, so I wasn't really able to spend too much time there. However, I did get like 12 golden walnuts and a couple of dragon teeth. One thing I did not plan was actually reaching 8 hearts with Elliot this season. I was able to buy the bouquet at Pierre's, and Elliot seemed very excited to be boyfriend-girlfriend. It was then that I decided I was going to marry Elliot this year, no matter what. I would say that my year 2 spring was very successful. Finishing the community center and unlocking Ginger Island in the same season is actually, in my opinion, really impressive. I want to take a second to remind everyone that this is my second ever playthrough of Stardew Valley, so. Okay, so year 2 summer. Despite having the most bad luck days I've ever seen, I really stepped up my game this season. I really started getting more focused with my goals and working directly towards 100%. My goals for summer year 2. 1. Make as much wine as possible. This includes stocking the greenhouse and making as many kegs as I can. 2. Have a pretty large collection of every crop and forageable from summer. 3. Work on finding golden walnuts on Ginger Island. And 4. Work on making recipes. I spent a lot of time working on my greenhouse, making kegs, and selling wine this season. Actually, it was taking up enough of my time that in the last week of summer, I decided to start a schedule where all of my wine is collected and my greenhouse is taken care of on Sundays. That way I won't feel like I need to check my greenhouse and my kegs every single day. I will say though, the reason that it takes so long is because my keg collection is growing at an exponential rate. I'm not even kidding. I also spent a good part of the summer doing what Stardew players do, farming. I wanted to collect at least 10 to 15 of each crop just in case I needed it for a recipe or a quest or anything like that. I made as many recipes as I could, and I took inventory of everything I might need to make every recipe that I had left. I wanted to finish the recipes as soon as I could. I unexpectedly spent a lot of time fishing this season too. At this point in my playthrough, I was only like 5 or 6 fish away from having caught every fish in the game, so I really wanted to catch the ones that I could as soon as possible. In terms of crops and forageables, I did have quite the collection at the end of the season. I really wish that I had focused more on this during spring. I honestly didn't spend too much time on Ginger Island this season. To be honest, since I only set up the whole greenhouse keg schedule in the last week of summer, I didn't really feel like I had that much time to go, but I did get a few more golden walnuts from the quest with the lady at the beach. I would say year 2 summer was pretty good. There's always nitpicky things that I can look back on now and wish that I did differently, but seriously, I feel like I'm making pretty good progress. Year 2 fall. Things are getting spicy. I really started planning and actually looking into what I needed to work on to get to perfection as fast as I could. So my goals for this season were collect as many golden walnuts as possible, aka make as much progress with Ginger Island as I can, get married to Elliot, no ifs, ands, or buts, and then I also had other goals like cooking new recipes, giving out as many gifts as I could, and spending lots of time in Skull Cavern and the mines to collect ore and work on the Monster Hunter quest. I spent a good amount of time on Ginger Island this season. I made it through all 10 levels of the volcano, I started working on the frog's quest, and I found a lot of golden walnuts. I got 10 hearts with Elliot and bought the mermaid pendant the very next day, and I gave it to him. 3 days later, we were married, and on day 27, he asked me if I wanted to have a baby with him. So we're having a baby in the winter, I guess. I remember struggling a lot to finish the recipes in my first playthrough, so I wanted to kind of get ahead of that and make as much progress on recipes as early as I could. That's part of the reason why I spent so much time this season and also in summer working on farming and foraging and keeping everything I could harvest or find. Gift giving is also a tough part of the game, mostly because the schedules of the villagers can be very confusing. Other than Elliot, I didn't have a ton of super high relationships with the other villagers, so I made sure to take time to give out gifts and to talk to everyone at least once a week. It's kind of a win-win because I will also get recipes from them once our friendship gets to a certain level. And I mean, do I really need to talk that much about the mines in Skull Cavern? I wanted to work on the Monster Hunter quest, and also in order to make progress with a lot of things at this point, I need lots of ore, specifically iridium, so I spent a lot of time mining. Year 2 fall is where things really changed for me. Though I had goals before, I would say I was playing semi-casually, but something struck me when I unlocked Ginger Island, and now I feel like I should have finished the game yesterday. But I'm making good progress, so. Year 2 winter was an interesting time for me. Kind of like I mentioned in the fall, I have a few things left to work on for perfection, and they are all very specific things. If I'm being honest, for more than one reason, I do believe that Year 2 winter is the beginning of the end. Alright, let's talk goals for this season. Number 1, work on Ginger Island. I wanted to finish the Frog's Quest, unlock the Pirate's Cove, and catch a stingray. I also really wanted to get a starfruit farm going. Number 2, give out as many gifts as possible. Even though I'd have the movie theater unlocked soon, I wanted to reach the highest level relationship with every villager sooner rather than later. Number 3, work on stuff around the farm. That includes working on making more kegs, growing ancient fruit in the greenhouse, or taking care of the animals. Although, I'm not gonna lie, I neglected the animals for about half the season. Last, and most unfortunate, I wanted to spend a pretty good amount of time in Skull Cavern. Completing the Monster Hunter quest takes a long time, and I just want to get it over with. Also, I need iridium. I would say winter was successful. I made a lot of progress. I unlocked the walnut room, I only had 4 recipes left to make, I was done collecting minerals, and I only had 2 artifacts left. I want to take a minute here to just honestly say that I'm so proud of how quickly I've been making progress in this run, specifically the entirety of Year 2. I'm obviously not a professional Stardew player, but for a second run, this is pretty good. Also, I have to talk about Ga. As you might be aware, Elliot asked me to have a baby with him last season. Well, we have a bouncing baby boy, and his name is Ga. So I have this thing where I'm indecisive with names, so if the game will randomize a name for me, I'll do it. So, when given the option to randomize his name, Ga. I will say, he is cute, but Elliot is already talking about having another one. And that is all of the progress that I made in Year 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this short recap of Year 2. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I will link the entire playlist for this run below if you're interested in checking it out. And make sure to go follow me over on Twitch. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!